We got a lot to talk about. A lot of people think Jim Miller should have got submission of the night.
And it makes sense.
It was nice.
It was really nice.
Let's break it down.
I was surprised.
What's crazy is that, and this takes nothing away from Jim Miller, but it was somewhat accidental what happened in his Gogoplata setup to armbar. Somewhat accidental. But then again,
the attack.
There is no accident.
Correct.
Let's explain.
And there is no luck.
There is no luck. The fact that he is a black belt and he is as dynamic as he is, he was able to accommodate and take advantage of the gift. What we mean by that was this. When he ended up underneath Fabricio Camões, bottom of the guard, head control. He swam this arm out. He got the arm out. Okay? He started climbing his legs up. Really high on Fabricio's back. At this point, what he wanted to go for was he wanted to pull this leg in front of Fabricio's neck and then come out and lock over here, biting the shoulder, keep this arm out on the ground, grab the head right here, and this is called a Gogoplata. Omoplata, Gogoplata. Okay? Gogoplata, you pull and you're driving your shin right into the person's neck. It's an amazing submission if this arm stays trapped. Now, what's interesting is when they were working this and he cleared the hands out and he started to work the angle, he grabbed this before this leg actually came in front of the face. Fabricio's arm came inside at the exact same time, basically.
Exact same time. So bring your foot over, go ahead slowly.
Boom. At this point, both of them were a little surprised. I don't have what I need.
Well, hold behind my head. Would it work right now?
No, because
so
the arm comes
arm
out. Right. But what's crazy is how at this moment, when he pulled the leg in front of the face, is how Fabricio did not pull his arm out. He kind of stayed with pressure here.
Well, I think he believed that if you held behind the head, he would be okay.
Right. But yeah, that's true, because I'm facing you, there's no danger armbar angle.
Correct.
The magic of the moment was when Miller used this leg right here as a pivot point right into the artery, and he turned his hips from the go-go to the straight arm lock from the guard. As soon as we landed, Fabricio did the right thing. He went to anchor his endangered arm. He didn't get a full bicep lock like we normally try to, but he had like a forearm area right there. He definitely was safe, okay? And his back leg was already posted. At this point, fearing of getting slammed, Jim Miller underhooked and went. And his legs are crossed, by the way. Okay, standard procedure. North leg, cross on the neck, south leg, biting over. And the other hand is underhooking the leg right here. At this point, Camões stood up. Stand up, bro. And we ended up in this. Walk around a little this way. Yes. At this point, he stood up and he's holding here. Now, what's crazy is that at this point, Miller relaxed. He's not trying, because if I try to break your arm right now, what are you going to do? You're going to resist by bending it more and try to fight into it. But Miller just kept the wrist hug, kept this leg hug, and relaxed right here and just waited.
Well, you said earlier, Fabricio's in a good position. This is a good position, but it's not good enough.
Yes.
To do what he did next.
So, yeah, it's so risky.
Which was he let go to try to push the knee off the head. But even though he's relaxed, these legs are on lockdown mode, right?
They're there, but they're ready.
Arm locks are all about legs.
Right. So at this point, as soon as he let go back to your anchor, bro. As soon as the hand let go, boom, the hips came into it. And the pressure went. It was really cool to see Miller finish it with this underhook on the leg. And he just locked his hands. So he had an elbow hug on the wrist. He was hugging. And his hips went straight through to work right there.
And he even tried to go back to
re-establish
After he
go back.
This.
So he came. Boom.
No, it's too
late. Once the hips are fully extended. So, what was the most magnificent part about this?
I think the relaxation before the final finish.
That's so true, because what is the defendant expecting when you have an arm all locked up like that? I'm expecting tension and pressure and trying to finish it in a hurry.
Yeah, well most people, when they catch something good, they don't want to mess it up. They don't want to lose it. They don't want to miss the opportunity. But this idea of waiting and just hanging out, and it's because he trusted that his legs were in a good position, and he was confident in the stack. Now, could he have been stacked?
Quite possibly, yes.
So now, who knows how flexible he is?
Who knows how flexible he is? And here's I think that that's a great point. If you know we're in this position, trying to stand up and pull, by standing up, what is he obviously saying? I want to pull my arm out.
Correct.
You're not going into it, you're trying to pull out. We've talked about it in the last 2 or 3 breakdowns. There have been demonstrations of people who have suffered armbar finishes because of their attempt to pull out of the submission instead of going into it. And by going in, we mean going in and anchoring deeper.
And we know very well, from
high risk, high reward.
We know very well that training with winning fighters, especially no-gi in this MMA world, that pulling the arm out is very successful.
Yeah,
It
especially
works.
slippery.
I mean, it works 90% of the time.
Against 90% of the people.
Correct. But arm locks are only getting tighter.
Yeah.
Right? And especially being able to survive and defend from the bottom of your back is becoming more important because people are holding top position and staying in the guard. So this is one time where
it was
pulling
amazing.
out was a no-go.
It's really high risk, high reward. And stacking and going into it where you anchor and you just kind of stack and you chill right there is safer because you can't get out, but they're not going to be able to finish you. It's like a stalemate.
Correct. But it's also risky in the sense that if you stack and you go forward, they can untie your arms. You can lose your balance.
They can Ronda you and just tip you over your
Correct.
head. Yeah.
So the hanging out is also dangerous.
Benson Henderson was the last major example of, or one of the more recent ones of this against Anthony Pettis. Tried to do the same thing, stand up, pull out. It gets very tight because if your arm doesn't come out, you're broken. It's done. Fight's over. So, a lot of people really loved that submission, and we did too. We thought it was really crafty how he went for the Gogo Plata and turned his hips so swiftly on such a high-level black belt in Fabricio Camoens. It's admirable. And then we have this Anderson Silva incident that I'm still affected by. I'm still affected.
I don't think people have, it hasn't even registered yet what happened. Right? Like, even though I saw it live and I saw it happen, like, the next day I'm still like, wow.
Yeah, I'm still affected.
Did this even happen? Like, still, and he's already healed.
Yeah.
His leg's already fixed.
Well, what's crazy, yeah, so they've had the surgery, and they said 3 to 6 months to heal the bone, the tibia. They put like a titanium rod, they screwed it back together. And 3 to 6 months to heal, 6 to 9 months, the doctor said today on a conference call, to be able to train. The first question when he got out of surgery, he asked the doctor was, when can I train? Which, for those who care, it means the Spider may look to make a return. We don't know. We hope he's right because we're huge Anderson Silva fans of his craftiness and his magical abilities in the cage. And we want the world to know that these last couple fights with Chris is an amazing athlete and a worthy champion. Nothing against that. But Anderson's still one of the greatest of all time.
I mean, Anderson is so...
He's done things that we've never seen anybody do.
Correct.
He's the greatest. He might not be the greatest, you know what I'm saying, submission master of all time and sum total, but he's the greatest at, you know, I'll back up and I'll knock you out while I'm backing up. I'll kick you in the head with your toe. I'll knock you out with my toe kick to the face. He's done things that we've never seen anyone do in MMA.
Or I'll be on my back for the whole fight and win with 5 seconds left.
Yes.
That's Royce Gracie type stuff.
Yeah.
Who lays on their back the whole time and then wins? Very rare.
So we're huge Anderson fans. We were very unhappy that that had to happen.
And him coming back isn't a big deal. If he comes back, great. That's great.
I don't think he has anything left to prove.
Correct.
And he didn't have anything left to prove, you know, years ago. I mean, he already proved his point. He's magical.
He basically, in that fight, and people are very like, oh my gosh, he shouldn't have went down that way.
Right.
But he went down the battlefield. He kicked so hard, it got blocked. So Chris, amazing for Chris for blocking that.
Amazing.
Just to even be able to see that coming and block it is great. But imagine if he didn't block it.
Right.
He might have broke through Chris's shit. You know what I mean? So just that power and that athleticism is so amazing mixed with the martial arts. So
It was very sad.
Anderson cannot mess up. He can't not be the best in the world.
Yeah,
He
won't.
could have kicked and knocked himself out, and
he's
he would still be the greatest of all times.
This is true. So Anderson, we wish you a speedy recovery, and we thank you for all the wonderful fights and entertainment along the way, and education. But we learned a lot. Your elusiveness with the strikes, even on the bottom of the grapple. I love how he manages distance so well, and his punch protection is so remarkable. And what I also wanted to acknowledge is that even though we've been in martial arts our whole lives, choking, breaking, getting cranked and twisted, and we're all around this, and professional fighters, same thing, they punch each other, they kick each other. I think for a lot of the uneducated fans out there, they need to realize that even seasoned martial artists, right, and even UFC fighters don't want to see this happen. This is nobody won from this happening, and you know, like I said, it even made, you know, us cringe. I actually was in the locker room with Team Rousey, and I was filming the crew because I knew it was going to be some kind of crazy finish. Never in a million years did I expect that finish, but I was hoping for the crazy knockout of some sort for Anderson or for Chris, like we saw last time, and I wanted to get the reaction. So I had the camera ready, and I filmed the reaction, and it's just crazy that even, you know, Ronda and the rest of the crew who all been around martial arts our whole lives, we still we're so impacted by the damage and the injury that, I don't know, I think a lot of people think that, oh, if they're fighters, that's what they're trying to do. No, that's not what we're trying to do. Correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to neutralize the opponent and manage them with the least amount of damage possible, and for an accident like that, everyone loses, and I mean, it's tough.
There's care for the other fighter.
There's care for every fighter, yeah, and I think even Chris, you could feel the sentiment and the respect after the fight.
And there's respect. Even though there might not seem like there's respect sometimes, there's still respect all the time, which is a whole different talk.
Which brings us to our next talk.
Booing. And judging.
And judging. We've gotten interesting. It was very interesting to be at that fight. I was there live. He didn't make it to this time, but he'll be out there next time. It was very interesting to be in that arena and to feel the energy of the crowd. And in Ronda's particular fight, the negativity from some of the fans and the booing, and it's just very interesting. A lot of people, some people ask me, Henner, why are they booing? Who don't really, maybe don't know so much of the backstory between her and Misha. Other people say, Henner, Ronda should have done this or Ronda should have done that. Ronda should have shake hands after the fight, and that's crazy that she does that, and they're saying bad things about this. And I was asking me what I thought about the whole thing, and I guess my thoughts on the whole idea of Ronda's behavioral choices and how she acted the way she acted, and the response of the people is simple. I don't know Ronda and Misha's history. I don't know it. I know what they put on TV, and I know what they edited for the world to see to create a dramatic environment. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the totality of what went on between them.
Even if both of them told you what happened, you still wouldn't know.
I'm still not Ronda, and I'm still not Misha. So I can't possibly know because I wasn't living it. And all I do know is that if I were to judge Ronda for not behaving in a way that I think she should, then I'm guilty of the same behaviors that I'm condemning her for. Does that make sense? Right?
Yes.
Because obviously Ronda is behaving the way she is because of her interaction with Misha.
Correct.
And the disrespect that she may have felt, and she mentioned spitting on her back and that she can't shake someone's hand who spit on her back and disrespected her family, and she has the right to make her decisions. What I'm saying is, regardless of the choices she makes, as soon as I judge those choices, how she chooses to live,
that's not martial arts.
yeah, do you understand? So yeah. I am, clearly, if I'm judging, I should be subject to the same booing that
correct
anybody else is getting.
You need to stay right here within yourself.
Yes, and I need to understand, and I think that a lot of people out there, were angry by her. No, all you have to say is you didn't live her life, so you don't know why she's choosing to do things the way she does, and you have to just kind of look at it and think to yourself, if I don't know exactly their total experience with one another, do I have the right to judge?
Yeah.
The encounter in the octagon, the single encounter. So to judge one single encounter, based on that one encounter and not take into consideration the totality of the relationship up until that point, to me, that's more wrong than it is to choose not to shake someone's hand based on your own principles for that particular engagement.
Now, if they would have never met each other before, ever,
right,
and a promoter here, both brought them together to fight.
Yeah.
Said, you fight her, you fight her.
Brand new relationship.
Never met
each other.
Never met, and you knew that for sure, for fact, and they both fought each other.
Right.
And after the fight was over, what would you expect?
Right, because of the traditional agreed upon, courtesies and ways of the martial arts and of the sport of activity, they would shake hands after, right? So what I'm saying is, customarily after a fight where two people come, they fight and they go home, they shake hands.
But this was a little bit more than just a game, a sport.
It was much more.
It got a little personal.
Clearly, it was much more to Ronda, at least, than just a single encounter. And that's why we got to be careful when we take that single encounter and we judge it without knowing the totality of it. Now,
Ronda could have shook her hand and been thinking to herself,
yes,
and shook it with no sincerity,
because
right?
she really obviously didn't feel the sincerity behind it.
Correct.
She could have done it just to please the people.
And would thousands of people have been like, oh wow, that's so great. Ronda's a great person now.
Right. That's a good point.
And in her mind, she could be thinking, forget this girl.
Right.
I mean, that would have been a little dishonorable.
Dishonorable to shake just because of what people were going to think about her versus not shaking because of what she believed was right for the defense of her honor and her family.
Correct.
That's interesting.
And then some people would have almost felt disrespected amongst her team.
Some fans might have gotten mad that she shook hands.
Correct. So you almost can't make everybody happy.
Wow.
Well, we know that already. Now,
so what we're saying is this: there is no right and wrong. There is people living their lives the way they do, and as soon as you place judgment on their lives, you're the same as the ones you're judging in the sense of You understand? You're deserving of the same judgment because you're doing exactly what you're condemning them for doing.
But we know judging is so fun.
It is.
Be honest. You've already judged us 19 times.
It's contagious. The booing is contagious.
Correct.
People were like, boo!
Imagine if you're all booing.
And I'm like,
everybody's booing.
Yes, it's
I
contagious.
might as well boo because
it's just to make more noise. For
and
loudness.
because I'm used to handshakes. I'm like, oh yeah, boo, ha, ha, I'm having fun. We're all having a good time. Now, real quick story. Mike and I were talking on the phone on the way here, and there have been times where I've been at restaurants, and so has he, where we did not leave a tip for the server. Now, someone on the outside, another table or different server, could see,
or a civilian, or
anybody, another person, someone eating somewhere else, could see this and think, man, that guy with the Gracie
is a bad person.
That's messed up. The server might have said something when I left. Who knows?
Right.
So they might all be angry at me because natural society wants to kind of defend.
They want to judge.
They want to, and they also want to defend the
customary,
the person that is like not the good and the bad, like the innocent person.
Right.
They want to defend that supposedly the innocent person. And Misha, by putting her hand out like this, she was the innocent one who got denied.
Right. So the point is, you didn't give a tip.
Correct. I didn't give a tip. And why did I not give a tip? Because there's something went down between myself and that server where I did not feel grateful for what they provided me.
So beyond paying for the food,
correct,
it was not necessary.
Correct. I couldn't do it. I walked away. And I'm sure all of you out there have felt like, you know what? I don't want to even pay for this meal today, let alone leave a tip.
Right.
So, but it's the exact same thing. She did not feel like giving gratuity to Misha Tate.
Right, and we can't unless we sat down and had the meal and experienced that exact same thing.
Unless you were me,
right.
But you're not. So then keep it real.
Respect. So you can be angry.
We're not Team Ronda Rousey. We're Team Logic. Okay. Even though we train with Ronda, this is all great, but we're Team Logic, and many people have done things that have shocked the world, and we're like, oh wow, this is interesting, but whatever, let's move on. And that's the martial arts way.
Yes,
that's the jiu-jitsu way.
Everyone has the right to be angry or open.
Correct.
It's a choice, and if you want to be angry, congratulations, you have your chance.
And it's not personal. We know that you're angry because there's a good chance.
And what's crazy is that
maybe you didn't have lunch that day.
What's crazy is the greater degree of the angry opportunity, meaning however more serious the opportunity for you to be angry is, the greater the opportunity to show your openness.
Yeah, it's good.
You know?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
And is that also true for Ronda? Meaning, as angry as she could have been, she could have showed her openness as well? Yes. Yeah. But the fact that she chose not to, I can be angry or I can be open. That's the whole point.
Correct. She might show it some other way, some different day, some other fighter. She's fought other people.
So, I think they understand the point.
Yes.
The judging is more a reflection of the judger than the judgee.
So it's not personal is what you're saying?
No, when you judge someone, it's more of a reflection of you than it is a reflection of who you're judging.
That's what I'm saying.
The booing
it's not personal.
is you.
Correct. So when I boo you, it isn't about them, it's about me.
Yes.
It's about how I'm feeling.
It's about how you're interpreting something.
Like, I might have not had lunch, so I'm a little more sensitive.
Yeah, that's true.
When you make me angry,
that's true.
I express myself a little bit more.
If he doesn't have lunch, you don't want to hang out with him. Correct. And you especially don't want to train with him.
If I skip a nap, don't come to my class at 6 p.m.
Chokes get savage. Now, let's get back to business. The fight. Ronda's fight. I was there. It was a great honor to be in Ronda's corner for this fight. She's amazing. We did a cool video. If you haven't checked it out, the link is in the comments in the description below. A cool video of training and preparing for this fight. And the main focus for us was what? Comfort in worst case scenarios.
That's the main focus for us.
With everybody.
With everybody, every day, everywhere.
And what's interesting is that Ronda's very much of an aggressive fighter. She's the go, 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 which is amazing. But when the tables get turned and she's on a defensive posture in the fight, it's critical that she remain calm and have the proper execution of the technique to not dig herself deeper in a hole. And we focused a lot on that for this fight, and we were very impressed and very happy with her ability to take these ideas and implement them, along with all of her other previous experience. And a couple moments, the one that I was two moments that I was most impressed with in terms of her survival mindset and the patience that she exhibited. One was when she landed in Misha's triangle. First round, I think it was, if you guys remember. She landed here, boom, hips up high, and as soon as the legs locked right here, okay, she didn't panic, she just stood up. And she just kind of got up, and then she just kind of deadlifted Misha right here. She just got up.
Well, the standing up is normal.
A lot of people stand up.
But from right here is what is different what she did.
A lot of people get emotional right here. A lot of people at this point try to slam. We've seen it many times in the UFC. The people just want to go boom and break their neck on the way down.
Thank you.
So when she was standing up with Misha, the number one thing was, Don't slam.
And if you think about it, Ronda has reason to want to slam Misha.
Oh yeah, because the thought is you can knock them out.
Correct.
The risk is if I slam, boom, and it gets tighter. I'm not getting up now. Fight's over. So she didn't slam. She stood up. It was amazing, and she just stayed there calmly, shaking Misha's legs off. For me, it was the greatest display of discipline, of not trying to impose and hurt someone, but rather to try to smooth, technically escape with the least amount of risk possible.
Yeah,
very cool.
Because the feet were crossed, gravity, right, and that little shake, it's only a matter of time before Misha's legs gave.
Yeah, she kind of just shook her right off. It was very nice.
Still
very impressive.
Misha even got that, though.
It was very
That's
interesting.
good.
Yeah, I mean, Misha's ground was respectable. Ronda said it after the fight.
The whole fight was respectable. She said very clearly, Misha did a great job.
Right.
I was impressed.
That was one. Another cool one was, of course, Ronda's bottom. We have never seen Ronda really working from the guard as elaborately as she did in this one. She neutralized punches, beautiful triangle setup, nearly had a triangle on Misha. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that one, but it was really nice.
Yeah, Misha just, you know how it is, it's slippery. Misha just worked and slipped out.
Very nice defense, but it was cool to see Ronda shooting other submissions that we've been working on from worst case scenarios and being on her back and being comfortable. It was amazing.
And if that triangle served a purpose, it just to like kind of drain Misha a little more, so when Ronda did get on top,
well, it was just so cool to see Ronda applying so many different threats, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For going for different things, and to go for a triangle, which is not customary because everyone's expecting the armbar, was cool to mix it up.
She didn't want the triangle though.
She didn't want it.
No.
Well, trust me, training with her, she's very open to anything. She likes the armbar, she's good at it, but she'll take what she can get.
I know she's open, but when she's in it, she's like,
I want the armbar. Keep the record perfect.
correct.
Now here's the thing. People talked about Jim Miller should have got submission of the night. The reason why we feel that is worthy, and the reason why the UFC probably felt it was worthy that Ronda got it, is Hedon always says, if triangles were the only submission that were allowed in Jiu-Jitsu,
Correct.
no one would get caught in triangles.
Correct. After you would lose in like maybe 4 or 5 triangles, eventually it wouldn't happen anymore.
If triangles were the only submission allowed, no one would get caught in triangles.
Correct. You would understand
Because you would be
too well.
waiting it from every angle, you'd be waiting for it. The reason why we feel that Ronda's submission of the night was worthy, even though the odds and she was a favored opponent over Misha to a great degree, is because it was expected. That's amazing. It's like Ronda could have went in with a sign and says, Misha, I'm going to catch you in an armbar. Put the sign down. That's what she did basically by winning the last so many fights with armbars. Put the sign down and went and did it. That's impressive. Even though the odds were different for Misha and Ronda than they were for Jim Miller and Fabricio Camoins, that's what's impressive. The setup for Jim Miller's was really cool, whatever, but what's impressive is when you know it's coming.
Yes.
A professional fighter knows you're going to catch him in one move and you still catch him, it's pretty impressive. That's why it got submission of the night. Okay? So for those out there who were doubting and were wondering what the science was behind that decision, that was the science.
That's science in your mind.
Even though I didn't choose it.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that anybody who made the decision, that would have been the logical reasoning for it. Cool? Let's talk about this finish. It was beautiful. So they finally ended up in the cage right here. It was like this. They had a situation where they were kind of clinched here. Yeah, they were locked over like this. Ronda was stepping inside, getting ready for one of those throws. Everyone was so blown away by those throws, rightfully so. It's amazing. Yeah. If you throw your energy towards Ronda, she will connect with you. She will change directions, and she will throw you, and she will land on you. And it will not be a comfortable landing, okay? And if you want to break down, look up some judo videos. They're amazing, some amazing throws, and he doesn't want to get slammed right now. But at the end of the day, just watch the fight again. It's amazing. And it just, for those who are a little curious of how she does that so well, to me, the one attribute that she has, and as an Olympic judo practitioner, an Olympian judo medalist, is her ability to commit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people learn throws, but Ronda, when you put your energy towards her, she doesn't do the throw and think to herself, I'm going to see if this works. When you connect or go for a double leg and she puts a whizzer and she connects and picks you up a little bit and she turns and she throws, she puts so much energy behind it, she puts so much commitment that there's no chance that it doesn't work, right? That's why every single thing she does on the throws works, because she convinces herself that it has to work. So it's amazing. And
people
we're equally impressed as the rest of the world.
People feel the pressure to enter on her because if she goes and takes you down, then she'll end up on top.
Boom.
So to secure a top position, they attempt to do a takedown.
The problem is, as you go for the takedown,
Right.
she just turns your energy and ends up on the bottom. So what do you do?
And you don't even want to stay standing anymore.
Yeah.
She was like landing some right hands. Her stand-up
Yeah.
is growing every day too. Same as her jiu-jitsu. She's
Amazing.
growing everywhere.
So
because they don't want to exchange hands, they clinch, and that's
and they clinch, they get thrown.
there's basically nowhere to go.
There's no comfortable zone. So here, Ronda was like, okay, we're clinching against the wall. I want to get to the ground. She thinks, I want to get down. So it was the final takedown was very unorthodox. She basically was here. She did kind of like put your leg more in the middle of mine. She got more forward. Yeah, so we kind of fell backwards this way. Boom, boom. And then Misha ended up on top, turn up right there. And it ended up like this, almost in a headlock right here, get up. And then Ronda ended up underneath right here. Look, this leg ended up in the body. Boom. Ronda ended up, her head was underneath. Now, it's very unique. Like, I already said it publicly, but her arm bars are some of the best I've ever felt in my entire life. And it's almost like Ronda has a magnetic
socket,
something inside her hips, a magnetic force that is attracted to shoulder blades. That's the way I look at it. If you have a shoulder and her hips are anywhere within a few feet, her hips will just attract to your shoulder no matter what. So she comes under, she brings this in, her hips attract right here, her neck was under, and then she pushes through, pops it out right here. Now she lands in her favorite position. Bend that arm nice and tight, bro. She lands in a beautiful position. She grabs the leg, the shin is in front of the neck, she rolls, she pulls the leg. Is that?
This way.
Sure. She's holding the same as we've already broken down. She pulls the leg, she lands right here. At this point, Misha tried to do the defense that she already was successful with.
Correct.
One time, earlier in the fight. Misha defended her arm bars. That's why it went 3 rounds. She survived.
Yes.
So, but the problem is this. For most people, a failed submission is discouraging.
But for Ronda, it's educational.
It's research. So when Misha survived the first one, Ronda already knew how the defense was going to come next time. Which was the first defense was what? She came over, she blocked, she drove her head over, and she landed and plowed over the leg. Very, very effective defense, right? But instead, when she landed this time, she crossed her legs a little tighter, and she pinched the shoulders. Like even though, and then at this point, she came up, she hugged, she pulled the wrist. Even though Misha's head was out, Ronda's knee pinch was so much tighter on the second one, or the third one, because she knew where Misha was going to go. She took the research.
Correct. I didn't even really feel like Misha attempted to go north.
No, at this point,
Correct,
she was demoralized.
I mean, this is a situation where obviously Ronda could have went like Husimar Paladas, right, and ripped the arm even after Misha tapped.
She could have.
She could have, and some would say she had reason in her team, but no, she doesn't have reason to do that. She let go. She's a great sportsman.
So what
Now,
happened is,
hold on. The thing is that you have to tap so quickly right now.
well, because remember, what she
Ronda
has
wants to secure the submission, the
Yes.
victory, but Misha knows.
and Misha has trauma from the past one.
I'm so glad she tapped quickly.
Right.
Oh my
I am too.
I was so happy for her.
So what's the moral of the story? Once you had one arm broken by
Was it the same
Ronda
arm?
Rousey, I think the first one. Let me see. Where
You
is
can't think back that far. You have no idea.
I'm trying to visualize.
I've broken it down 2 times.
No,
I think it was the same arm. I'm not sure, but either case, once you have one arm broken by Ronda, you generally want to avoid having another arm broken by Ronda. So you tap early, and that's what we saw with Misha. So a lot of people were very confused why she tapped so far. With her head removed, she had all the reason to keep fighting, try to get out, because she was not in the most imminent danger with the leg behind her neck. But trust me, she had the trauma from having happened before.
You make it seem like once you've had the arm broken, you should then tap quickly. But you should always tap quickly.
Yeah, 10-4. Let's not
Yeah.
wait for the first break. I recommend that.
Correct. All fighters, everywhere, you should tap quickly.
That's true. You guys,
You can always fight again a different day.
it was amazing. Being there, witnessing that amazing fight. I mean, I really do, give it up to Misha, because she definitely got better. There's no doubt. She was surviving. She was attacking. She almost caught her. She clipped her a few times. It was a great fight. Obviously, fight of the night reward as well for these 2 ladies. But it's amazing how the women have some of the dopest fights.
Yeah. Well, they really need technique. Until they start
I see what you're
looking like Cain Velasquez,
saying. Right.
they need to have nice technique.
Yeah, and it's true, because a lot of the women.
Not that Cain does not have technique, but once some women look like Cain,
Because most
then they
women
can afford to just be explosive and be athletes.
They have great technique. It's really cool, and they're putting it all to use. And women are used to rolling with guys in the gym. Ronda trains with all the guys here, and just puts the whipping on a lot of them. And because they're training with guys, people who are so much stronger physically, sometimes they get used to just having good technique. And it's really cool to see that in the octagon. And it's just amazing how these women's MMA fights have continued to deliver on such a high level. And I think that's great for the sport, great for the UFC. And we can thank these 2 ladies for holding it down so real this time around. So congratulations and thank you. So the last Gracie breakdown we did a giveaway, which was, you tell us how the fight was going to end. Silva versus Weidman. Tell us how it's going to end, and choose any item in the Gracie store, and you can win that.
Did you say the round? How and the round?
Yeah, tell us how and when.
Yeah.
How and when the fight's going to end, and you can choose any item. And of the people, I would randomly select someone on the YouTube comments, whoever left a comment, and of the people who I randomly selected, if you chose right, you would win the prize. If not, we move on to the next person. Well, we ended up with Stephen Collins. And nobody guessed that Weidman was going to win via tibia fracture from a kick check.
I knew.
Knee check of the kick. No one wrote that. But Steve Collins wrote Weidman was going to win via second round submission. And you broke the shin. It's like breaking an arm, like what Ronda did last time. So I kind of categorized it as a submission with a knee check, shin check, and he won the prize. And he chose the Royal Fight Short, the Gracie Academy Royal Fight Shorts. Congratulations, Steve. Hit us up. We'll connect, and we'll get you the right size. The next Gracie giveaway. 1 year subscription. It's a new year right now about to start.
Correct.
This is the last breakdown of
Yes.
2013. 1 year subscription to Gracie University. Full access. Techniques, breakdowns, all the curriculum, and all the sparring. And for those who don't know, we have bonus Gracie breakdowns. Because we started doing Gracie breakdowns 2 years ago. And we started doing fights that were happening in real time. But there were hundreds of fights that happened before we started filming Gracie breakdowns for the world. Those hundreds of fights are getting broken down one by one and being released exclusively through Gracie University. Okay? So you go to graciebreakdown.com and it takes you to the page which explains how you can get access to those. Whoever wins this prize will get access to the whole white to blue belt curriculum, whole master cycle curriculum, whole women empowered curriculum, whole subscription program, sparring videos, us sparring with students, with each other, narrated sparring, and all the classic Gracie breakdowns, bonus breakdowns we call them, a whole thing for 1 year.
Wow, you're feeling very...
Yeah, it's end of the year. I'm going to get a puppy tomorrow, so I'm feeling in the giving spirit, and it's all
Are you
good.
getting a poodle?
No, I'm getting a dog tomorrow. We're getting a dog. It's going to be dope, and we've been pondering names. A little boy, and so far we've settled on Choki. Choki, not Choki like you think. T-I-O-K-I, Chioki, Choki. You guys think I meant choke? You thought I meant choke?
That's what you wanted us to think you meant.
That's what's up. Choki, come Choki. It's gonna be dope. And of course
You're
we're
going
gonna
to
teach
call
him
him choke. You're going to have to choke. I'm not going to say choke. Tongue twister.
No, Choki,
Choke.
come Choki. It's gonna be
Call
dope.
him choke.
So you're gonna get a whole year's subscription. Now here's the thing. What do we want to know from them?
We want to know if you are angry or open after watching this whole breakdown. There's all this talking.
Well, just
after
understand-
judging us as much as you did.
Yeah.
Not that you judge in a good or bad way. You just made like, yeah, they're crazy or they make sense.
Well, yeah.
Are you angry, still angry about the no handshake?
Right.
Or are you open to the
fact.
idea that you might not know everything
About
that went
that?
down between the two of them?
And therefore, is it possible, is it conceivable that failing to shake hands based on not knowing the full circumstances of their relationship was not only acceptable, but even honorable
Correct.
to herself? Do you see what I'm saying? Or is there no circumstance under which someone should not shake hands? Do you see what I'm saying? So all we want to know, are you angry that she didn't shake hands? Or are you open to the fact that it's possible that not shaking hands, there could be circumstances that would warrant that behavior? That's it. Are you angry or are you open? Leave a comment. We're going to randomly select someone. And the next Gracie Breakdown, we're going to announce the winner of a whole year Gracie University subscription.
Isn't it crazy? If you've ever been angry, you should be open,
Interesting.
right? And you know what I was also thinking, the little side thought, is are people going to be a little bit more concerned with throwing kicks?
Yeah.
How Anderson Silva and many other fighters throw kicks.
That's true.
And people are going to start, what's that called with the shin? The block?
Yeah, checking the kicks.
Are they going to start checking more kicks?
Oh, yeah.
Because fighters are only getting stronger. So I myself think, man, I never want to kick anybody again or even block a kick.
Right.
But I wonder what this is going to have, the impact of this Anderson
if
Silva
the most-
fight, Chris Weidman,
if the most-
on the youth.
If the most spectacular striker the UFC has ever known can break his leg throwing a kick, what does that mean for the rest of the
And he didn't have
Right.
weak shins.
Right.
It wasn't like his shin was weak. No.
Those,
He
are,
had
those are some
strong
seasoned
shin.
Those are some calloused shins.
Yes.
Those are some baseball bats. They've knocked a lot of people out, damaged a lot of people, messed up a lot of legs.
Yes.
So, anyways, guys, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure. And this whole year, we thank you guys. 2013, we celebrated 100 years of Andy Gracie this year. Amazing.
Yep.
Right? We had an amazing party.
Great time.
And even though his physical body is not with us anymore, his jiu-jitsu lives on. And every time someone gets choked or someone gets arm locked or someone acts safely and efficiently in the heat of battle in a wise, energy conserving way, Eddie Gracie Jiu-Jitsu lives on. You know, he didn't create every move, but he made us believe in them. Technique every morning, sparring every night. That's how the setup was. So not everyone came to the sparring, but the people who train a lot and were needed that extra, they got it, you know what I'm saying?
Your son or your daughter is in the bully proof on the mat over here, and you know, the mom, the wife is you know, with Victoria and Eve doing Women Empowered, and then there's, you know, Gracie Combatives over here for the son, and there's Master Cycle if you're there, and you can hop around, and it's just a great environment. It's almost like they took the whole academy from Torrance and put it here for 3 days, and on top of that, you get to hang out on the beach, you get to eat good food, you get to enjoy the sun doing fun activities like jet skiing and YOLO boarding. There's really no reason to not come.
What do you like about Jiu-Jitsu?
That you get to take down bullies.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm always like, it hurts.